I never thought I'd be the guy to say my marriage was a lie, but here I am. My wife and I had been together for nearly 15 years. We met in college, built a life together, and had what I thought was a solid, unbreakable bond. Sure, we had our ups and downs every couple does, but I always believed we were on the same team, until I wasn't so sure anymore. It started small, little things. She became more distant, started spending more time working late, though she never really had to before. Her phone, once casually left around the house, was now always face down or in her pocket. At night, she started taking long showers with her phone in the bathroom, and I could hear faint whispers like she was having a conversation with someone. One night, I set up indoor cameras. We had just renovated the house, and with the new baby on the way, I wanted security in case anything happened. She didn't question it. That was my mistake. 2 weeks later, I was reviewing footage while setting up alerts, and I saw something that shattered me. At 2 a.m., my wife was in the living room, in nothing but a robe, snapping pictures of herself. I could see her smiling, making seductive faces. She kept checking her phone, probably waiting for a response. I couldn't see who she was texting, but I didn't need to. The way she kept looking over her shoulder, the way she rushed to hide her phone when she heard me stirring upstairs was all too familiar. My heart was racing, my stomach churning. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe she was taking them for me. Maybe it was harmless. But why hide it? Why act so damn guilty? I decided to wait to gather more evidence. I started watching her more closely. I noticed she'd take her phone with her to the laundry room for extended periods. She'd go on errands and come back smiling, humming to herself. And then there was the sudden spike in her gym routine, something she had never cared about before. One night, I pretended to be asleep and set up my phone to record while she was in the garage, the one place without cameras. The next morning, I checked it, and there it was her whispering into the phone, giggling, saying things I wish I could unhear. I confronted her that night. I played dumb at first, asked her about her errands, her late-night showers, her sudden obsession with hiding her phone. She played it cool, said I was being paranoid, but then I showed her the footage. She exploded, not in guilt, not in remorse, in pure, blind rage. She snatched my phone and tried to delete everything. When I stopped her, she threw it against the wall. She stormed outside, ripped one of my security cameras down, and smashed it. Then she started screaming at me. At the night, at everything. She called me crazy, accused me of violating her privacy, told me I was the problem. But she never denied it. Not once. The next morning, she acted like nothing happened. Smiled at me, made breakfast, kissed me on the cheek, like we hadn't just ripped open the ugliest part of our marriage. That was when I knew. It wasn't guilt. It wasn't shame. It was the fact that she got caught. I asked her to talk, to just be honest with me. She laughed, said I was being dramatic. That was the last straw. I filed for divorce the next week. She was furious, but she never fought it, almost like she was relieved. A few months later, I found out why. She had moved in with someone else, her gym trainer, the guy she'd been seeing behind my back. I felt like a fool. I had spent years thinking I had a loving wife, when in reality, I was just a convenience, a placeholder. Looking back, there were so many red flags I ignored. The sudden secrecy, the emotional distance, the fake fights she started out of nowhere just to create space between us. I guess I just never wanted to believe the woman I loved would betray me like that. I still struggle with it. I still hear her whispers in the back of my mind when I'm alone. I still wonder how much of our life together was real and how much was just a carefully constructed illusion. All I know is that I won't ignore the signs next time. And if someone makes me feel crazy for suspecting something, I'll know I'm probably right.
It was supposed to be a perfect evening, my birthday dinner, surrounded by family and close friends. Just a cozy, laid-back celebration. Everything was going great. Drinks were flowing, laughter filled the air, and I was genuinely enjoying myself. Then, my fiancé stood up to give a toast. I smiled, expecting something sweet, maybe a sentimental speech about how much he loved me. Instead, he raises his glass and, with the biggest grin, says, "We're so excited to announce, we're expecting." The entire room erupted into cheers. My mom burst into tears, and his family started clapping. My friends looked at me in shock, probably thinking, "Wow, she didn't tell us?" But the problem? I'm not pregnant. I froze. My heart started racing. I tried to laugh, thinking it was some kind of weird joke, but he was dead serious, standing there, soaking in the moment like we had just revealed some wonderful secret. Finally, I managed to stammer, "What are you talking about?" He turns to me, still smiling, and says, "I've been manifesting it, babe. It's only a matter of time." I swear, I felt my soul leave my body. The whole room fell into this weird, confused silence. My mom, who had been mid-sob, looked at me with wide eyes. His family, who were still clapping, slowly started to lower their hands. My best friend leaned in and whispered, "What the actual hell?" I just stood up, grabbed my purse, and walked out. He followed me, his face twisted with anger. "Why would you embarrass me like that?" he snapped. "You could have just gone with it for one night. Now you made me look like an idiot in front of everyone." I was still in shock. He was mad at me. I asked him if he was joking, if this was some kind of weird prank, and he got even angrier. No, I really believe it's going to happen soon, and I wanted to put it into the universe. I stood there in the parking lot, staring at the man I was supposed to marry, realizing I never really knew him at all. Now his family is blowing up my phone, saying I ruined a beautiful moment, and that I should have been happy he was so excited for our future. My mom is just as confused as I am. My best friend keeps saying this is a huge red flag. And I'm lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering how the hell I got here. Am I overreacting? Or is this as absolutely insane as it feels?
I, 18M, thought my girlfriend, 18F, and I were in a good place until she brought up the idea of an open relationship. At first, it was just a discussion. She framed it as a hypothetical, saying she wanted to explore the idea, weigh the pros and cons, and see if it could work for us. I wasn't immediately against it, but I had my doubts. We had a mature conversation, or so I thought, but as the discussion progressed, something felt off. We started talking about logistics how it would impact our lives, how we'd set boundaries. I brought up uncomfortable hypotheticals, like what would happen if she got pregnant by someone else, or if I accidentally got someone else pregnant. She was oddly dismissive about those concerns, saying we'd figure it out. Then she mentioned that if we did this, we should each only have one other person on the side. That's when it hit me. She already had someone in mind. My stomach dropped. I asked, "Do you already know who you'd want to see?" She hesitated. Then she shut down completely. "It's not important." That alone was a red flag, but I let it go for the night. We went to bed distant, and I had a bad feeling in my gut. The next morning, she brought it up again. This time, she seemed more insistent, like she had been thinking about it all night. I asked again, "Who is it? Who do you have in mind?" She got defensive. "That's not your business." "Excuse me? Not my business? How is that not my business when we're in a committed relationship and she's talking about opening it up?" I let it go again, but I was already on edge. Then, a few minutes later, she sighed and said, "It's my ex." The moment she said that, everything clicked into place. The weird defensiveness, the sudden interest in an open relationship, the way she dismissed my concerns. She didn't want an open relationship. She wanted permission to be with her ex. I stared at her. Is that why you brought this up? Because you want to see him again without feeling guilty? She had the audacity to look upset. I just don't want to keep hiding it. I felt like the air had been knocked out of me. Wait, you're already seeing him? She didn't even deny it. She just looked down and shrugged, like it wasn't a big deal. I lost it. I told her to get out of my house. She started yelling at me, saying I was being unfair, that I should have at least considered it, that she had been honest with me. Honest? She had been sneaking around behind my back and then tried to sell me on the idea of an open relationship just to make it ethical. She stormed out. I sat there, staring at the wall, feeling numb. Later, my mom found out what happened. I thought she'd tell me to be more understanding, but instead, she told me I did the right thing. She said if someone wants to be with you, they don't look for loopholes to cheat. That helped a little, but I still felt sick. Now my ex is texting me, flipping between apologizing and calling me controlling for not letting her be herself. Some of our mutual friends think I should have talked it out more instead of reacting so strongly. But honestly, what was there to talk about? She was already cheating. Did I overreact? Or did I dodge a bullet?